taken a lot of risks this morning. I've lifted up 3 mystery box lids and it's worked out well for me. I've got mastic, I've got Quandongs, and I'm going to use the elderflower, and I'm thinking definitely a dessert, definitely a tart, and definitely an ice cream. Today I'm going to make a Quandong tart with the crimbat plus a mastic ice cream. Mastic ice cream in 60 minutes is a bit of a risk, but that's what you've got to do in this competition, especially at this point. So I haven't made one before, so I'm just risking it. The first thing I need to get onto is my pastry. My pastry needs to be absolutely perfect if I have any chance of getting that immunity pin. I don't have much time to set this pastry, so I'm going to chuck it into the freezer where it's a whole lot cooler so I'll be able to set quicker.
Come on, Chris.
So my pastry's in the freezer and I now need to get onto my ice cream. I blitz up the mastic into a spice grinder and make it to this beautiful fine powder so I can incorporate that into my anglaise. I really want that mastic flavour through my ice cream, but I'm tasting it and it's quite bland. I can taste it just. It's all right. I might add a little bit more. I can't really taste it. I'm debating how much mastic to put into this ice cream. I haven't worked with it enough to know whether it's going to stay that dull or as I churn it, it's going to really boost the flavour. I'm just going to add a little bit more just to make sure that you can definitely taste that mastic.
The flavour will grow on it.
Okay.
Just be careful because you think, oh, it needs more, and then you keep adding more and then it grows. And when it cools down, the flavour intensifies.
I just hope that it's not going to be too overpowering. I now need to put that into the ice cream machine to churn. Ideally, I would like it churning for about 30 minutes.
Good job, Elise.
So I'm just praying that it churns in time. I put my first tart into the oven. It's not the most prettiest, not my best tart I've made, but it'll be enough for me to put my crimpat and my jam inside. The next thing I need to do is my Quandong jam. I do that by cutting the Quandongs into small little squares, chucking that into a saucepan with a little bit of elderflower and some sugar and a little bit of water just to reduce it down so that they go really sticky and flavoursome. I take my tart shell out of the oven and... Woo! Looks good! It's golden brown and it's crispy and that's what the judges want, so I'm pretty happy. My mastic ice cream has set. I now need to get that out of the ice cream machine, do a beautiful quenelle and place that in the blast chiller. It's got this really strong mastic flavour. I didn't expect my ice cream to churn and for it to have that much more flavour. I just hope the judges enjoy it.
1 minute to go, 1 minute!
I need to start plating. I place my tart shell onto the plate and pipe my crimpat in the middle. I then place some of the Quandong jam gently on top.
Come on, guys!
10 seconds! 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it! Your time's up.
Yeah, I got it.
Good job, guys.
Elise.
Walking my dish up to the judges and I'm happy. I'm smiling from ear to ear and I'm thinking I've got a pretty good chance to get into round 2.
What have you cooked, Elise?
Quandong and crimpat tart with a mastic ice cream.
That's beautiful. That bright, sort of beautiful Quandong jam on the top, custard, and that soft pastry, that crumbly pastry is delicious.
And I think we can all say none of us have ever tasted the combination of mastic and Quandong before in our lives. So it's definitely interesting, and you dealt with the mastic the best way, I think, by blending it up with icing sugar.
But for me, the texture of the ice cream, texture of the pastry actually is really good. Texture of the custard, everything actually works really well together. And I think you're brave in terms of what you did earlier. You chose all that ingredients. I think that's good on you. It's about learning.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good stuff.
To use those ingredients and to create that dish, I'm in with a chance. That's like the best case scenario for me.
Today I'm making my oyster ice cream, and I really love it because it's a great way to introduce oysters, especially to people that are a bit funny about them. Now, the first thing that we're going to need to do is make a savoury anglaise, so then we can add our oysters to create this oyster ice cream base. Right, so 6 egg yolks, 100 grams of isomalt, 15 grams of tapioca multidextrin, 30 grams of milk powder, 5 grams of stabiliser, and we've got our wet ingredients, 535 milk, 140 mils of cream. Okay, so basically we've got our dry and wet ingredients, 9 minutes, 85 degrees, and basically we're cooking out the anglaise, yeah, in simple terms. Now, while that's happening, I'm going to show you how to shuck an oyster properly. I take a cloth and roll it up and create a little sort of a little wedge for the oyster to sit on. I then protect my left hand from what we call the shucking knife. Now, this isn't about force, this is about finding the sweet spot. It's finding that little spot where it's just going to pop the oyster open and not damage the inside as well. Okay, now at that point, I've just lifted the lid. Now I want to use the blade of the knife to open it up. All right, and there we go. I then remove the inductor muscle off the bottom of the shell, and there we have it. Right, what I want to do is just gently steam a couple of these oysters in their own shell. So what we'll do is we'll grab a couple of these. Now I've got a little bit of foil there, and that will basically create a little sockle so they stand up. Now I've got a little bit of water on the bottom as well. So what we've made here is a little butter with Worcestershire, Tabasco, and a little bit of miso. So a little slice on each oyster. And that's going to melt and give it some real yummy flavour. So basically I want to put the lids back on because I want to steam the oyster in its own little house. Pop that on to steam for about 4 to 5 minutes. Now, our anglaise, that's cooked. You can see it's already thickened. Then from here, we cool this mixture down. So we've got 17 shucked oysters in here, including their own juice. Cook this for 1 hour at 72 degrees. So we've got our anglaise that we cooked, we've cooled it down. Now we're going to add our oysters. Blend that. So there is our oyster anglaise base.
George, just a question with your anglaise, make sure you use isomalt.
Yeah.
Is that just because it's not as sweet, but it's
It's
still...
invert sugar.
Yeah.
So it's going to give it that nice softness and also a little bit of sweetness, not too much. It's a really minimal sweetness in isomalt, which is fantastic. So our anglaise, that will go now into your churner. Churn until it's really nice and soft. I've already done this. So our oyster ice cream's in the freezer, ready to go. Our oysters are poached, and you can tell that because all we wanted to do is let the butter melt. And I know as soon as that butter melts, that oyster's going to be cooked. Now look at that. That just... Oh my gosh. That's really delicious. All right, we'll just set that aside. Now, what I want to go with this dish, I've got apple that I've made into little circles and compressed with passion fruit because I want that tartness, all right? And I've also got this incredible leaf called an oyster leaf because it tastes like an oyster. Just pop these. Oh. Some olive oil. And then we'll just start to play. I've got some breadcrumbs here. I'll put some of these down because I want to put the quenelle on there.
What kind of breadcrumbs?
Just the brown bread. Same bread that I smashed up. I sliced really thin into rounds and toasted it off. Now our oyster. And look how plump that is and beautiful.
Wow.
Some apple puree. And of course, we've got to have caviar. We're going all out here. It's a celebration. Right, some of our little discs of apple. Bread crisps. Our oyster leaves. And all I want to do is spray the leaves with Tabasco. Just give them a bit of pepperiness, but not too much. This is all about detail, yeah? That's what finals week will be all about, detail. All right. Okay. Now, ice cream.
Oh my God.
And we'll just some of this beautiful passion fruit that was sitting in with the apple.
Oh my God.
Oh, thank you. Is it tuna?
Is there any flour in?
Having just come off the back of that mystery box cook and not having my dish tasted today, my approach coming into this invention test is to get the attention of the judges. Wasabi, I've got to be creative. I'm going to do a dessert today.
Wasabi ice cream is something I've tried before. I actually quite enjoy it. So I'm going to come from a dessert angle today. I think that'll make me a little bit different to everyone else. I'm going to try to do some form of biscuit with it. And also I'm going to incorporate some sweet yams from this morning. They're really, really sweet when you cook them right. So that'll add to the dessert as well. Now's the day to risk it all. So that's what I'm going to do.
Today I'm cooking a wasabi ice cream. I'm absolutely strapped for time. Probably spent a good 10 minutes trying to find ingredients because they're all in Japanese. So I'm going to be doing an uncooked anglaise today. With a normal anglaise, you cook the eggs and the sugar and the milk and everything together, and that's how you thicken it. With an uncooked anglaise, you whip the sugar and the egg together till it's really light and fluffy, which will give you body. And then from there, you fold in your milk and your cream.
Hey guys,
What's that?
What is that?
Yeah.
it's a wasabi ice cream.
Is it?
And
Yeah.
how did you make that? Because that looks like cream.
Really white,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, so I've used powdered sugar today,
Yeah.
and I've just really whipped it just to make sure that I get it creamy enough.
Oh, wait.
So
Did you
it's
make an
eggless?
anglaise?
No, I didn't make
eggless.
an anglaise. No anglaise.
So stabiliser?
Yeah, no stabiliser.
No stabiliser?
Wow.
No,
So
I've done it before.
And it
But
works?
not with powdered sugar, but
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Okay.
I've got a few raised eyebrows from George and Gary. I know exactly what that means.
Be interesting to see how this all comes together.
Yeah.
I nearly always go with what the judges recommend, but you know what? I've got to stick to my guns this time.
got the wasabi ice cream going. I've got my sweet yams in like a sweet syrup. They're just reducing at the moment, and I'll finish them off as a fondant with a bit of mirin over the top. I've also got a nutmeg biscuit in the oven ready to go.
Nutmeg will pair beautifully with any type of potato. As well as that, it's going to give it a real earthy flavour, and I think that's going to take away a little bit from the wasabi because it's going to be quite strong in that ice cream. I don't think I've ever seen a combination of wasabi and nutmeg ever in my entire lifetime. So I've done something really out there today, and it's either going to blow up in my face or it's going to blow away the judges. I'm blitzing up my honey yam puree. The honey yam fondants are in a frying pan with butter and also a little bit of mirin for a really nice shine. It's tasting quite good, and now it's going to come down to my wasabi ice cream. The judges had real reservations about the uncooked anglaise. This ice cream is an absolute integral part of this dish, and if it doesn't work out for me today, then I'm no chance. It's time to plate up, and I'll pop down the honey yam puree. I place the nutmeg crumb on top of that with some of the beautiful honey yam fondants, which are just shining with the mirin. I've got my wasabi ice cream in the blast chiller. So I take it out, It's set perfectly. I placed the wasabi ice cream on top. It just pops and I'm loving it. I just hope the judges love it too.
Loving these dishes, looking beautiful. 10 seconds to go. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Your time's up.
Well done, guys. Well done.
That was so hard. It was really stressful. Yep.
Taking my plate up to the judges, I'm feeling really nervous. I know the judges definitely had some real reservations about my wasabi ice cream today and the uncooked anglaise. So I just hope that I've come through and changed their minds.
Ooh, look at that. What's the dish?
It's a wasabi ice cream with honey yam fondants, a honey yam puree, a nutmeg biscuit, and sugared wasabi florets.
The big question is the ice cream good? Because George and I at your bench going, what? What?
Yeah.
Perfect weather for ice cream.
It's very rare you have a flavour combination where you go, why has no one done that before? Well, I've not seen nutmeg and wasabi before. Because it seems like such a wrong idea. But it's so delicious. And you smash the invention brief like out the park.
The texture of the ice cream is very whippy, it's very light. The wasabi really packs a punch, which is lovely. I think it's a really good dish. Really, really good.
Love the yam, love the ice cream. I think it's all just rock and roll. I watch you sometimes at your bench and there's bits everywhere, but you just bring it together and that's fantastic.
This dish puts you straight into contention.
Well done, Ben.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Good on you, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
It's a really proud moment for me because the thing I've always struggled with in this entire competition is self-belief and self-confidence. And I just know that when I really start to believe in myself and what I'm capable of is when I put up my best food.
And we're cooking a bitter chocolate ganache with caramel and peanut ice cream and a white chocolate honeycomb. So the first step for this dessert is going to be the chocolate ganache. George, this needs to go in the fridge. Get to it.
Brilliant. Right, guys, to make this bitter chocolate ganache, quite simple. 500 grams of double cream. Into that, 50 grams of glucose. And we're just going to let that come to the boil. In a bowl, we've got 450 grams of dark bitter chocolate. 175 grams of unsalted butter, and of course 2 grams of salt. We basically want to bring this cream up to the boil. Once it comes up to the boil, we're going to tip it over our chocolate to melt the chocolate, and that will form our ganache. That's how simple it is.
Why are you using double cream?
It's rich. That's what I want. It's just a fattier cream.
Could you use another?
Yeah, of course you can.
Oh, okay.
You can use normal cream. Right, guys, as you can see, the cream's scalding. So I take that off and I tip that into our chocolate. And we just slowly incorporate the cream into that butter, the chocolate, and that's going to form our ganache. That's it.
Easy.
Once you've incorporated the cream and you emulsify it all together, you're done. The glucose also helps it emulsify. It's an invert sugar. And look at that, it's just nice and shiny, free of any lumps. The butter's emulsified, and it's also given it that real velvetiness and sort of shininess that a ganache should have. Right, guys, that's ready to go. So to cool that down a little bit quicker, I'm just gonna pop it in the fridge. Right, so over to you, Gaz, for the peanut butter ice cream.
Great. Okay, ice cream, nice and easy. But there's a little step that we're going to include, and that means adding a flavour to the milk and cream that we're going to use to make the ice cream. First of all, I'm going to get a hot pan ready. The reason I want to do that is because I want to make a dry caramel in which I'm going to throw my peanuts, and then I'm going to scald the milk into that caramel. So they end up with that caramel peanut milk, which is the basis of the peanut ice cream. Now, I need a hand. So, Callum, Golden Gay Time was your wannabe challenge. Get in here. Now, first of all, hot pan, spoon, and I've got 2 amounts of sugar. We've got 50 grams, which you're going to sprinkle into the hot pan to make a dry caramel. And then we've got 100 grams of sugar and 6 egg yolks, which you're going to mix into a bowl to form the basis of that anglaise or that custard. All right? So off you go. Sugar first for a caramel. And while you do that, I'm going to grab some ice.
Okay.
How's it going? That's good. Right. Let the pot do its thing. And what that means is allow that caramel to start forming. Now, dry caramel, different to a wet caramel. Difference is when you make a wet caramel, you dissolve the sugar with a little bit of water, which starts it off, slower process. And as the sugar cooks, the moisture evaporates. Dry caramel, hot pan, dry sugar, a little bit more difficult to make, all right? In with the peanuts. Give it a stir. A little pinch of salt, all right? Give that a stir, and let's take that off the heat, because that's getting away from you a little bit, and that's why I've got the ice. Because when we get that reddy brown colour in the caramel, we're just going to shock it into the ice. I'd go now in there. Give it a stir. Yep, that's taken the heat out of the pan, all right? So what it's done is just shocked the base of the pan, stopped it cooking pretty much straight away, all right? Now, we can relax now. Done the caramel. Chuck the spoon in. I want you to measure off 300 mils of cream and 300 mils of milk and pour it on top of the peanut toffee. All right? 300, 300?
Yeah.
OK. And we use a combination of milk and cream because you just get a lovely consistency. All right, all measured?
Yeah.
Back on the gas and in with the 300 cream and 300 milk. And then what you're going to do now is just stir that, break up the caramel on the bottom and let the caramel dissolve into the milk. And you're going to end up with a caramel peanut milk. All right? So that looks lovely, really nice. OK, next step, while you're dissolving that and bringing it to the boil, 6 egg yolks and 100 grams of sugar. When you pour sugar on top of egg yolks, make sure you whisk it straight away because it tends to burn if they just sit on the top of the yolks. It's quite important. And you don't have to mix them too much. It's just sort of just to break the egg and dissolve the sugar a wee bit. And that's ready for the basic custard, all right? I'll do it quickly for you. You put in half, right? And this is important. It's quite quick. Turn the gas back on, right? And what this does, by leaving half of the mixture in there, is it keeps the heat in the pan, all right? Now what you've got to do is you've got to whisk that evenly until the foam dissipates or it coats the back of the spoon, which means you've hit the right temperature. And if you're not careful, you're going to overcook it. So this is where the ice comes back in. Clean bowl, because we don't want raw egg yolks in our custard. You've got to whisk evenly, and then you've got to hit 80 degrees. So if you slow it down, whisk that for me.
So you could do this with a thermometer if you weren't sure.
There you go. Keep whisking. You've got to hit between 75 and 80 degrees to sterilise and thicken the custard. If you're not using a thermometer, what I do, and you're a little bit heavy-handed, is just a very gentle whisk, all right? And I can just see it now. See as the foam dissipates, off she comes, right? It's quite quick, right? And then straight away, whisk the custard and see all that steam? What's that?
That's the heat.
That's heat. So you're dissipating the heat straight away and you're stopping the custard cooking anymore because the risk is it's going to scramble, OK? So as that's cooling down, the next thing we're going to add is the peanut butter. There's a couple of tablespoons of peanut butter in there. And Callum, I just want you to whisk that in and incorporate it. That's about 100 grams of peanut butter. The reason we didn't add the peanut butter at the beginning in the custard is because there's so much fat in peanut butter that it'll split the custard. So that's why it goes in at the end. Ah. Oh, yeah.
That's, yeah, that's much better.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. See, Callum, you just went, woo! I reckon that'll do. So let's put half into the ice cream machine and flick that baby on for about 20 minutes and see what happens. That'll do. All right, flick it on. So that's the ice cream done. Now on to the second part of our version of the Golden Gay Time, the honeycomb. Very, very simple recipe, but it's crucial you understand at what point you take the sugar off, okay? This is critical. If you don't do it correctly, it's not going to work. We've got 365 grams of caster sugar straight in, then 140 grams of glucose, and I've got 110 mils of water onto the sugar. And what we're doing is just allowing the water to saturate the sugar and dissolve, okay? And then we're just going to let that do its thing on a high heat. So I just want to make sure that that sugar's dissolved, starting to bubble. It's very thin at the moment. I can tell that because the bubbles are bursting really quickly. There's no viscosity in the sugar. But what will happen is the viscosity will start to increase. The reason it does that is because the water's evaporating and the sugar's cooking. Does anybody know what aerates honeycomb?
Bicarb of soda.
Bicarb. Bicarb you use in baking. It releases gas, carbon dioxide, when it hits a liquid. And this is what aerates the toffee. Now, once it's aerated, I'm going to transfer it to a bowl, and I don't want to touch it. And while it's cooling down, it's getting darker. So that's why you need to watch for these little tinges of gold and brown that start to form on the toffee, and then bicarb in and off. So I've got 1 teaspoon of bicarb, a whisk at the ready, bubbling sugar, and 1 mould that I need to prepare. Now, I've got baking paper, and obviously what the paper's doing is just forming a barrier between the glass and the toffee, because if you pour hot toffee into this bowl, it's going to stick. Beautiful. You're just starting to see a little tinge of brown, OK? That's it. In with the bicarb. Watch this. Quick whisk. Still growing. Okay? And it's darkening up. And even though there's the odd little point of bicarb, which you can just break, see how it's still going? Now you know why you need a deep dish, right? Love honeycomb. That'll take about 45 minutes to cool down. So we'll put that to one side. And the next step is to melt a bit of chocolate, turn this baby out when it cools down, paint it with the chocolate, and then cover it in peanuts. Next phase is melt white chocolate. So I'm just going to pop this chocolate onto a little pot of boiling water. Doesn't touch the bottom of the pan. There's probably about 3 to 4 centimetres of water. And just let the chocolate melt. Just through the temperature that's left in that water, you'll end up with a nice silky consistency. If you leave the water boiling underneath it, the risk is the chocolate gets too hot or the steam actually goes into the chocolate and destroys it. And that's not what we're after. So once that's melted, we're ready to paint the honeycomb. I think we're pretty close to planing this dessert up. So the honeycomb's been sitting for about 45 minutes, allowing it to cool and obviously set. Look at that, it's fantastic stuff. It's really airy, it's got big bubbles in it. Now what we're going to do is going to paint this thing with chocolate. So just break it a little bit. And then our melted white chocolate in with a brush. And basically what we're going to do is just really generously slather this stuff with white chocolate. All right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover this thing with peanuts. All right? And you'll see why, because what we're going to do is let that set, and then we're going to bash it up. So we've got our sort of honeycomb crumble.
Are the peanuts raw peanuts?
They're roasted and salted. OK. Nearly there. And there we go. We've just got to let that set. That's going to take about 10 minutes, and then we'll build the dessert.
So we're ready to plate up, Gary?
Yeah.
Right, I've got the ganache. I've popped it into a piping bag. Our ice cream's ready. The first thing we're going to do is pipe some of this ganache in the bowl to form the base of our dessert.
Isn't that pretty? And very gently, we're just going to break that honeycomb. Just a few bits for you guys.
Yeah.
All right. What do you reckon? Just some bits on the outside?
Nice. Oh, lovely. And we're going to put a little bit of crumble in the middle to keep it up, or?
I reckon
Some peanutty, crumbly stuff on the bottom. A nice little cornel of ice cream.
Nice. And some of these little parsley leaves.
Absolutely beautiful. So that's our bitter chocolate ganache with peanut
caramel ice cream and peanut and white chocolate honeycomb.
Who wants to taste?
Do it.
I need that advantage so badly. Finals week, and these are all fantastic cooks I'm up against, so, you know, got to work really hard today.
I've come up with a dish. Fennel has a really beautiful, strong flavour, so I'm thinking of incorporating that in an ice cream. At the start of the competition, I definitely wasn't a dessert guy. Lemongrass ice cream on a smashed coconut shortbread.
No.
I feel like I fell in love with desserts and ice cream along the way.
It's a wasabi ice cream with honey and fondants.
Love the ice cream. I think it's all just rock and roll.
Ice creams have now become part of my food dream, and I want to just keep pushing the boundaries with that. I've got a cold anglaise ready to go. The hardest thing to do now is try to infuse that fennel flavour into the anglaise. I need to grab some milk, and I place a lot of fennel that I've chopped down into smaller sizes and blitz it. Combine the fennel with the anglaise because I need to get all that flavour infused into my anglaise.
I've just got a whiskey caramel going at the moment, and I think I'm going to try to make a chestnut milk out of the chestnuts.
First cook of the final week, and my head is just down and I'm working as hard as I possibly can.
There's a lot of strong flavours going on there too, so bouncing off one another, that's going to be tough to make it all mould, but
I really want that advantage today, so I'm trying to be as inventive, as creative as I can be with 8 ingredients, but fennel ice cream, it's the hero of my dish. I taste it, and the flavour of the fennel, it's not so strong. It needs to have so much more fennel flavour in it. I really don't know what to do with it.
What are you doing?
I'm doing a fennel ice cream.
I quite like that, actually. I think it's quite a good idea.
So I'm just trying to incorporate as much fennel into the ice cream as I really want it to be there. I mean, I'm probably not getting as much fennel come through as I want.
Don't forget there's a lot of flavour in the front.
Yeah.
You got a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
I tell you what, you need to get busy.
Yeah, okay.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I take some of the fronds and I blitz it up into a paste. I add that paste to a tea towel. I strain out all the juice, and that juice is super strong and concentrated, and I add that to the anglaise. I taste the anglaise again, and bang, it's right there. It hits you straight up, and that's exactly what I was looking for.
Come on, guys! Great food! How's the confidence?
Not too bad. I think I'm onto a good thing today.
Yep. You never won a mystery box, have you?
Never won one, no.
How important is it this week?
More important than any other week, that's for sure.
I've never won a mystery box, and finals week would be the perfect time to finally tick that off the checklist. But it's going to be super difficult. I'm against some amazing cooks at the moment, so I think it's really important to stand out to the judges, just so, you know, stand up and they take notice. I'm looking at the wild rice, and I want to be different. I know everyone's going to puff it. I want to do something outside the box. I come up with the idea of, what if I blitz it and make a shortbread out of it?
I think that'll be a clever way of incorporating it. I've just got a whiskey caramel going at the moment too. Probably actually going to turn it more into like a butterscotch. There isn't much time left, so I've just got to like put my head down and my bum up and just work really hard now.
Time's running out, and I've got to think about plating up and how this is all going to come together.
The wild rice shortbread is still just a little bit warm, so I'm just waiting for the last minute to put my pear salad on.
I take the shortbread and I just begin to crumb it, and I taste a bit, and it's so delicious. It's crunchy and it's really earthy, and it's just got such a beautiful taste.
Yeah, really happy with it. Got my ice cream cornelled in the blast freezer. Just going through everything, I'm pretty sure I've got every ingredient. The whiskey butterscotch is going really good. I'm just going to add a little bit more whiskey right at the end just to really have that flavour there.
I've worked really hard in today's cook. I just hope my ice cream has enough fennel flavour in it. It's all coming together, and I know it tastes good, but in the back of my mind, I've never won a mystery box, and I've been thinking about it the entire cook.
I think there's a chance today.
I know I've put a lot of work into this dish, and I'm happy with so many of the components. I feel really proud.
Hey, look at you, flying. You happy?
Yeah, I'm really happy. I felt like I had a good cook today in the kitchen, and yeah.
What is it?
It's fennel ice cream on a smashed wild rice shortbread, a pear and goat cheese salad tossed in with olive oil, and I've got a bitter whiskey caramel.
You know what I'm most impressed about is blitzing the wild rice in the shortbread.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I just would not have thought of that.
Do you want to dress it?
Yes, please.
It smells wonderful.
Yeah, that whiskey caramel. Ooh, heady.
We all so look forward to this point in the competition because we're often surprised, so much more than we are at the beginning of the competition. That is a very complete, a very balanced, a very delicious dessert. I think it's absolutely yum. I think it's really clever. Well done.
Thank you.
The fennel ice cream just refreshes this kind of dark, deep notes of all those toasty flavours.
You've become the ice cream king. You've made wasabi ice cream in Japan, coriander ice cream the other day. If you don't go and open up an ice cream shop after this, I mean, honestly, you're really good at it. Ben, well done. Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys.
Good job.
Unreal.
Really good job.
Thanks.
I'm really proud of what I've done today, and that's really going to boost my confidence, but in finals week, I need that advantage. I'll take anything I can get against these really strong cooks.
Thank you.
Pete, bacon.
Bacon.
My favourite. What's happening, buddy?
I'm starting with the bacon ice cream.
Yes.
And I'm going to build around it.
An anglaise has got egg in it, so it is bacon and egg ice cream, pretty much, right?
I feel nervous about this challenge. It's going to be really difficult because it's Heston. This is an absolute mountain of a task in front of us. We'll see how we go.
Oh, smells awesome, Pete.
So good.
Heston's bacon and egg dessert was the first thing that introduced me to Heston. So I'm going to go with a bacon ice cream. I'll try to do a bacon and egg ice cream, and then I'll build around it.
Beautiful.
I'm throwing myself headfirst into this challenge. Hopefully one of my ideas lands. Any tricks for a really eggy ice cream? An extra yolk?
Yeah.
You want it eggy. Do it.
I need to get the ice cream on quickly. I need time for the bacon flavour to infuse in my anglaise. Then I need enough time for the ice cream to go cold and set. I add a ton of crispy bacon to my anglaise, and then I add some of the bacon fat. I've not made a bacon ice cream before, so this will be interesting. We'll see how we go.
That's really looking good, man.
Yeah, perfect. Infuse it.
All right, let's get it going.
I feel like high pressure at the moment. I'm still figuring out what I'm doing with the rest of the dish. At the moment, I'm just worried about the ice cream. I'm just focused on that. Choosing to do a bacon and egg ice cream like Heston is like challenging Mike Tyson to a fight. I basically have no chance.
Get it in, mate.
It's not the best idea. This could probably only end one way, but I'll give it a go. Ice cream coming along. I'm making my bacon and egg ice cream, and I'm cooking in a Heston challenge, so I need to make this dish my own.
All right, what are you thinking next up, mate?
I'm gonna do something with potatoes.
Yep.
Yeah, go get some potatoes, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pete.
I'm still not completely sure about everything that's going to end up on the dish, but my next plan is to try and find a way to add onion and capsicum. So I come up with the bright idea of making an onion and capsicum dust. Onions, why can I not see onions? There's one. I've never done this before. It sounds very Heston, so that's what I'm trying to achieve. My favourite thing in America was going to diners for a big breakfast. The plate of food is massive. I really love the way they introduce little crispy potatoes with peppers and onions. So I'm going to use that as an inspiration for my dish. I'm going to put them in the microwave. Heston originally made his favourite breakfast into a dessert. I'm just trying to do the same. I'm going to try and make an onion and capsicum dust.
Pete, just go full Heston, bro. Don't hold back.
I love this.
I've chopped up and blitzed the capsicum and the onion. I'm trying to dry them out. I know that putting them in the microwave will do that. They have to be in for quite a while, and then I'll blitz them up into a powder.
How are you feeling now that you're deep in the challenge?
I wouldn't cook this stressed at home.
Sure.
But at home, I do just try things.
Yeah.
And so it's quite fun
Yeah.
to work it out.
What's burning? Something's on fire.
Can you smell it?
Ooh.
Pete, is it burnt?
Oh, it's burnt. I feel so embarrassed. Someone was going to do something like this. I just hoped that it was not going to be me. I'm the first idiot. Something burning?
Yeah, Pete's microwave.
Oh, lovely. I'm trying to play it cool, like I don't care, but I'm dying inside. There's 20 minutes to go. I've dropped the dust because I almost set fire to the microwave. I do need to get moving because I need to figure out the rest of my dish.
Did you call the fire brigade?
I didn't call the fire brigade.
What are you doing with the potatoes?
The potatoes, I'm just got them.
Is the caramel ready?
The caramel's
Is
not.
the ice cream ready? Am I annoying you?
None of it's ready, Joe.
What are you doing, mate? Potatoes,
Yeah,
you've
so
decided.
I just wanted to go with like thin potato crisps. I tasted the ice cream anglaise before it went in, and I thought it was like quite bacony, but also very sweet.
Yep.
So I'm happy to have a savoury element.
All right, buddy. Good luck.
Potatoes are my starch of choice with breakfast. I prefer it over toast. I think I can add that in a really interesting way. This is how I really enjoy to cook. I love just trying to add some different flavours, love trying to think about what textures are going to add to the dish. I feel really comfortable. For plating, my maple syrup crushed peanuts, that's going to be the base. The ice cream will go on top of that. Then I'll sprinkle on some bacon crumb, a little bit of the caramel shards, and then kind of hide it with the potato crisps. Not in a million years would I have ever thought I could produce a dessert based around bacon. I was definitely inspired by my favourite kind of American fry-up breakfast, and this tastes like that.
Pete, would you like to introduce the dish?
Yeah, I've made my favourite American breakfast. Bacon and egg ice cream with bacon crumb, potato, maple peanuts, and caramel.
I think it looks great. It looks great under the chips, but I think, you know, having the chips sort of hiding the goodness, I think is a good thing. Can I tell you something else, mate? It smells like smoky bacon.
Oh, great.
Pete, you Hestoned the heck out of that challenge.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So clever on so many levels.
Oh, thanks.
You managed to balance sweet, salty, savoury in wonderful, wonderful quantities. It was perfect. Bacony, luxuriously fatty, rich ice cream, and then the potato chips, the fact that they're salty, they're savoury, they add a different kind of crunch to the other elements there. It was just clever all around and beautifully executed as well. Did you bring home the bacon? I think you might have.
Oh, awesome.
The ice cream is bacony. My brain was taken to breakfast, but I was eating a dessert. The texture of your ice cream was fantastic. The crisp potatoes, salted, genius. Just delicious. And I think you got the spirit of this challenge, more importantly for me. Very, very well done, mate. Very well done.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
You right now, you are why I love this competition. You came in and you were classic steak and veg. That is so far away from classic steak and veg, it's not funny. You are growing on a rapid, rapid rate. You just need to keep doing what you're doing because your progression is massive. It's a cracker of a dish, mate. Well done. Well done, Pete.
Awesome. Thanks so much, mate.
Where are they?
Oh, over here.
Straight for the strawberries,
Oh, actually, no, wrong one.
What do you mean? You just grabbed a handful of strawberries. Strawberries and mint are very different things.
I had something in my head. I was like, yeah, strawberries. Milk chocolate.
You want more beetroot? Beetroot and rhubarb, we need.
See, someone's stealing coinage and ideas.
Stir it, Reese. Really stir it.
Yum, 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 I'm making a mess.
Reese.
Hey, Mel.
You must have been so excited when this challenge was set.
Yeah.
Because this is your challenge, right?
Yeah, I'm really, really excited by this challenge. I think it's really cool.
Okay, so because you can make ice cream and you are the dessert guy, how are you making your combination really challenging and interesting and inspiring?
Well, like, I love, like, really fresh flavours, right? So I think the best thing to go with fresh flavours is, like, really heavy flavours.
Yes.
So I'm kind of going down that route. I'm doing a...
On the fresh side?
On the fresh side, I've got a Mandarin and tarragon ice cream.
And on the heavier, more richer side?
Is a caramelised white chocolate and miso parfait.
Well, here's hoping for some yin and yang harmony.
Yeah, big time.
Texture's really important in a dish, especially when it's all ice cream. So I want two different textures. I want to do an ice cream and a parfait, and then I'm going to add a third frozen element, a granita. We'll just add like another mouth sensation to the dish.
Oh, can I borrow some of your sugar, mate? Yeah.
What are you doing? You're like picking tarragon with a pair of tweezers. What's going on?
So I don't, because I have big fingers, Josh.
You like chilled out or what?
Always. I'm cooking desserts. I'm always relaxed if I'm cooking dessert.
Stark contrast to what's going on over here. Look at that. Like we've got spoons and water on the floor. His bench is a disaster. You're picking herbs with a pair of tweezers. What's going on?
Bye, Josh. What are you picking with tweezers? The tarragon, so I don't bruise them, Brendan.
It's just showing off, Brendan.
How you going, Reese?
Yeah, all my elements are done.
I'm like so happy right now. Like I've got caramelized white chocolate and miso parfait have set perfectly. The Mandarin and tarragon ice cream, it's really delicious. I want to add a third frozen element, a granita, like a burst of air and a burst of crunch. I hope the judges are happy with it because, yeah, to me, like, it tastes good.
Come on, guys! Get everything ready!
Time to wrap it up! 10,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's it!
Time for ice cream.
Air high five.
You okay?
Okay, Reese, what have you cooked?
So I made a Mandarin and tarragon ice cream, a caramelized white chocolate and miso parfait. There's also a Virtue granita. Good luck.
Did you get the tweezer tarragon on there as well?
Yeah, I did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Reese, I hope that Mandarin, tarragon, miso and verjuice are on my shopping list because I'm going to go home and try and make that. Because that was awesome, mate. Your technique is spot on. You get verjuice, your granita straight up, and then it just goes through the layers of the dessert. So you get your Mandarin, tarragon next from that, and then you go through and you just get this slight little hit of salted caramel, and then miso pops out, which makes you want to go back for more. Mate, you've, like, seriously, that is probably the best dish you put up in the competition yet.
Wow,
well done.
thank you. Yeah.
Do you know what I have to say to you?
Go on.
10s across.
Well done, mate. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Training, trying to cook it in the kitchen.
Oh my God, I know.
Whiskey business. Coming into this kitchen for the first time, I do feel nervous because in the judges' auditions, I did impress the judges.
The snap of the tempered chocolate, everything finely balanced, blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind.
I'm feeling the pressure for me to showcase that skill set that I have.
It was like, it looks like a delicious mushroom.
Oh, a little Reynolds mushroom.
Tempered white chocolate, like a basil cremo.
Wow.
Soil, insane, insanity. Yeah.
Wow. Hello.
I was just telling Meals about your incredible mushroom creation.
It sounded amazing.
So, dare I ask what you're cooking today in 75 minutes?
I'm going to do a little stacked dessert. So at the bottom, I'm thinking of a pistachio sablé. At the top, pistachio sponge with a chocolate Sichuan ice cream, macerated cherries, and probably, if I have time, a little tuile at the top.
Sounds right up my alley.
Yeah.
Tasting myself.
Nice clear flavours.
Yeah.
Which
Keeping
is
it
good.
simple.
Yeah. Balance, balance, balance.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good luck.
Emilia was excited about the flavours. I'm nervous because I've never made a chocolate Sichuan ice cream before. All of the times that I've used Sichuan has always been in savoury applications. But I know that chocolate and chilli works together as a flavour combination. And I know that Sichuan peppercorns have some heat and some numbness. So I think that chocolate and Sichuan can work well together. I just hope that I'm not overpowering the chocolate with too much Sichuan pepper because it can overtake the numbness in your mouth. I feel quite anxious. I do feel that there is a lot of pressure on me. Come on, man. So I really need to prove to the judges that I'm not a one-trick pony and I actually can cook.
Oh, those ice creams.
Ooh, velvety. I'm happy with the consistency. It's really creamy. It looks very velvety, so I'm very happy. I want the judges to experience all the different textures in my stacked dessert. I want them to get the softness from the sponge followed by the crunch from the sablé, a fancy little French biscuit. That tastes yummy. And also have the creaminess from the chocolate Sichuan ice cream. So I taste my ice cream and I get a hit of chocolate velvetiness, followed by Sichuan in the background. I think it tastes good, but I'm not too sure if there is too much Sichuan pepper. I do feel like that is a risk, but I do feel like you need to risk it to get the biscuit, right?
I'm happy. I would love one of the 3 immunity pins because that would allow me to help me when I'm in a pickle. Hey, Trees, do you need a bowl?
Okay, thank you. To plate my dessert, I place my sablé down the bottom, followed by the Joconde. I then plate my macerated cherries around my little discs. So far, I'm pretty happy with my dessert. It looks beautiful, and I hope that the flavours work well together.
Hello.
And here we go, guys. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well done, well done.
Yeah, well done, mate. Well done.
Nice, boys.
How chaotic.
Well done.
Well done, Bubba.
Well done, baby. Well done.
The pressure was on, but the atmosphere was just electric and feels like I'm coming down from
them from the sky, but I'm pretty happy.
In the judges' auditions, I did really well. So I really need to impress the judges today.
Wow.
Pretty.
I'm most worried about my chocolate Sichuan ice cream. It's a combination that I've never done before, so I hope that the judges will like it.
Therese, I'm going to play this up, so why don't you tell me a little bit about this dish?
Sure. At the bottom, I have a pistachio sablé layered with pistachio jacquard. Around it, I've got macerated cherries with a chocolate Sichuan ice cream.
So jacquard is like a nut-based sponge.
And the sablé's underneath?
Yes.
Okay.
Why did you want some?
You have to tell her how the dish is.
I want one more before Andy.
Oh.
In case you couldn't tell, your ice cream is spectacular. It is smooth, it is luxurious, it is chocolatey, velvety goodness. And we're not getting that back from Andy. I just know we won't. My goodness, if you can make ice cream like this, you should probably open a shop because the texture is just, it's sublime.
It is the most beautiful ice cream I've ever had. And that Sichuan in there is delicious.
The texture of the chicken versus the sablé on the bottom, absolutely game-changing. That chewiness, but then the richness of the sablé, it works so well together.
It's a killer dessert. Really delicious, something to be proud of. I would be very surprised if that isn't in the mix for a pin today.
Thank you.
Well done. Well done, Therese.
Well done, Therese.
I feel like this is so incredible.
Oh my God.
That's so cute. Oh, just like,
I've shown I'm not a one-trick pony, and I really feel like I have a good shot at this immunity pin.
it's luxury. Yeah. Pure luxury.